Hi everyone, I'm Abby, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright's Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Now, last episode, we finished up the investigation as Edgeworth, and we're gonna go to trial today, so yeah. Oh my, Mr. Louise feels that way about me? Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not, and in any case, whatever it is that we saw at the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Louise is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Stoneham, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, you are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Don't worry, I made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. Defense attorney's job is to believe in people. To believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, I simply ask you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I'll leave my defense in your capable hands. Iris is cute, isn't she? Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. Defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such blatant waste of this court's time. Empty prosecutors sure can only mean the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before I had a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict this time. This court finds the defendant. Been a while since we've seen her, The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance, would it be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma? Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma. That is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss von Karma, do you have anything to say? There was no such weakling as this man among those in the prosecutor's office. There isn't? But I'm sure once before in this courtroom. Ack! I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that? A whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip at... I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can blow the whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. There is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I'd expect you to face Phoenix Wright here today. Looking at you now. Maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you to slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Miss von Karma, please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. The meta-whip victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Stoneham. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is weapon in question, correct? Very well. Court accepts this photo of the crime scene. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there was a witness to the crime. Very well. Let's bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defense lobby for a back pain plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Oh, me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Ah! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery and that hearts should leave the sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? Great to see Franziska again, isn't it, with all her whipping glory? That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up, violently. So I left hours to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath for the inner temple, you see. I needed a long hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it. So it was simply coincidence you find yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. Sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Ring lights up bell at 10 p.m. That was in her room until the murder was discovered. Yeah. Ink is contradictory there. Yeah. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, well, well. Don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No, she said that? A defendant or a witness? Who was more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. That is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have an honest eyes. All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means, you must call your memory into question. Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me, and you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what my memory is perfect. Crystal clear, especially in winter. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you were going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a bit more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. And please add your comments about Iris to the testimony. Let's return to the cross-examination. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-wording hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Objection! Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day, now isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well, well, well. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. I don't understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order! Order in the court. Witness your response. Ah! Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile. Surplus of hoods, eh? Each knight is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Now this is quite strange. Ah! If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness? Well, I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt. You must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are spreading in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. I finished my bath around 11. I thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and Iris was, oh, Mystical Elise, with that sword of all things. Mystical Elise was staying in the corner room, which faced out onto the courtyard. Stabbing us must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Or, well, something like that. This judge. Imagination about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Body fell 10 feet after death. Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take a look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order. The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room, and she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of struggle in Miss Dornham's room? She She was stabbed with a sword. It would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. The whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your client, I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this. As I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood? Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, then that would be when the blade is removed. Yeah, indeed. But the weapon's still in place. It acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. The weapon's still in the body. There wouldn't be much bleeding. Perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Yeah. Order. Must know that this is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Vasiska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Move all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please. Remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we have finished here. With the whip. Oh boy. Alright. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Looking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Miss Tickleys. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can ya? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Miss Tickleys through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection isn't a possibility, Francisca Von Karma. I'm here to teach you just that. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it is splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in a corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? Seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw a little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now, you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. Witness, we will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Yeah, it can't exactly be smoothly brought out though, because of all the branches on there. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone up to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at this defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep should I so choose. The objection stands. Up to a little back there, must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If the sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. You also have the problem, the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the shishishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, may still sometimes stop the blood loss. I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more? This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? Ah. If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Order, order. Ah! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know can maybe manage one if that. What does this all mean? We have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is, the weapon used to kill the victim was not the shishishito. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mistagami was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that's the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the shishishito was the murder weapon. Order! Order, order! Ah! So maybe the shishishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That is true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I'd like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution could enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A child without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, did I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe, I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible! What else could this old woman have seen? I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. and after asking that I'd be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk the Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Ours could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. Both my back and my age, you know. Quite. There are indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of the Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You've finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, the wires are only one set of tracks. What do you mean? Hours left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, it naturally should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge or those from coming back. Ah, you're right. You're off forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, this presents your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Snow, 7 to approximately 10:50 p.m. And then the lightning happened, 10 to approximately 11 p.m. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course, this means the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Order. Very well, then. Looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this, then. When is a weather report ever correct? No, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Forecast, data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true, we cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How'd she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. I need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. So are you. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where's your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception, and that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donham. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then this photograph, that there should be 2 sets of tracks. Order. Despite you suggesting Miles Edgeworth. To be honest, I am not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Can I say something? So it sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in the room after the murder, which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is, when I left Iris to return to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that is impossible. Order in the court. What does this all mean? So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used a snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause us so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I have nothing more to add. Told you everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out, walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless I had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor? Actually, there might just be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, this individual that I'm thinking of went on wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? Larry. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deluxe's kind of obnoxious French painting. This is Larry Butts, disciple of the victim, Lee Stoneham. A student? Interesting. And why was he wandering a boot outside on the night of the murder? That's... Could tell more about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness, before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Someone this youth is a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he's in the gallery for this trial. I will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. Court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. Yeah, we'll have to cross-examine Larry next time. Interesting beginning for the trial, though, isn't it? I mean, Franziska's back. All those weird revelations about the snowmobile and stuff like that, and the weather. It's all interesting, isn't it? But yeah, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and comment and subscribe, and check out my Twitch and Ko-Fi Twitter/X. And again, next episode we'll be doing the second part of the trial, and we'll be cross-examining Larry. It's gonna be entertaining, trust me. So look forward to that, and peace off.